and welcome back to our channel. Today is kind of a different video. I'm going to be talking about my whole journey into modeling up until this point. So the very first thing, so I started back at the end of 2017 was when I first got professional photos done. So I paid for professional photos to be taken with a local Vancouver photographer who's super talented. His name is Alex Weber. I highly recommend him because he's a really good photographer. He charges $100 a photo. His package that he offered me was $500 for 5 photos, which is a bit steep, but it's definitely worth it. They're still to this day some of my favorite photos. So that was the very first thing that I did to launch my modeling career. So it took him about 3 weeks to get those finished photos to me. During that time, I was just setting up like the bones of the website, kateholmes.com. I basically put together a gallery of all of those photos that I could share with anyone. I took those photos and I printed them out in a little binder. So once the website was all set up and done, just gallery style with those photos on it, just those 5 photos I believe I had, I then applied to be a model at Numa Models, which is a local Vancouver modeling agency. When I got the email, I guess a couple weeks after I applied, I got an email from them saying to come in for an interview. So I scheduled an interview with them. I came in bringing like the printed out photos in a binder so they could kind of look at it. After that, I heard back from them saying that I was accepted as a model in their agency. So at Numa Models, which was the agency that I was accepted into, the way that they specifically work is they charged $250 to be put on their website, to have my own like profile put on their website, and then another $250 for a book. So it was called the modeling book, and then also the comp cards to be created. It was a branded Numa modeling book that I had shipped to my house that they made for me. In total, I had spent $500 for the first photo shoot and then $500 for the content that I did with Numa Models. So modeling has changed a lot over the years, but right now it has a lot to do with your follower count on Instagram. The amount of brands that will want to work with you will be a lot greater when you have a higher following on Instagram. So that's when I started working on my personal Instagram. There's a lot of Vancouver local Facebook groups that's basically just for models and photographers to do TFP shoots, which is free for photos. Both the models and the photographers will get together and go do a photo shoot together for free and just collaborate, and the models will be exchanging themselves for the photos. And so I started doing that a lot. I think there's about 5 different Facebook groups in Vancouver. They're very active, and so I definitely recommend checking those out if you're in Vancouver, or if there's probably a Facebook group in your local area as well. So the way that I started is I had my email and my website that I would go and post on these Facebook groups. So I would literally just check every single day and see if any photographers would post any opportunities, and then you would see like a giant thread of all these models that would be offering to do the photo shoots, and the ones that get the most callbacks are definitely, I highly recommend having either a website, putting your Instagram handle in there, and also sharing some kind of professional email. So a lot of the photo shoots that I started doing were all through the Facebook groups. The very first shoot I did, I believe, was a makeup shoot. It was a 60s look, and it was just a collaboration with a local makeup artist that was going to school. Then one of the ones that still is ingrained in my head, like burned into my memory, was a makeup bridal look that we did. So there was probably a few different models and like a ton of different photographers that got together. We all collaborated with a local wedding dress designer as well. Here's a clip of me just freezing out in the cold. I think it was March in early 2018 when this was shot, and I was freezing. It was so cold, and I definitely had like a crazy drag makeup look on, and it was nuts, okay? Then I did a bunch of other photo shoots that were all free for photos. One of them was a fierce look kind of photo shoot, and I have some clips here which I will insert of all the fierceness from this shoot. And another one of my favorite photo shoots that I've done was with a local fashion designer that I believe, I don't know how we actually got connected. I think it was also through the Facebook group. This is what her looks looked on me. I had a couple stories that were posted about that. That was a very fun photo shoot because I think it was in June, so it was a lot warmer outside, and we shot in like a beautiful flower garden here in Vancouver, which was really fun. And I think one of the highlights of my entire modeling career so far was when Luna Swim contacted me the very first time in, I believe it was like around April, so I think I'm jumping around here, but April of 2018 was when she contacted me to be a part of their official Luna Swim launch and their runway show featured at Van Swim Runway. So I do have a lot of stories here that I'm gonna share with you. Like, she had all this cool food there with all the models, and it was just a really, really fun experience, getting all the looks done, getting my hair done, and oh man, it was so much fun. Once we were actually on stage, like I remember being so nervous going to just walk down this runway in front of all these people in a bikini. And then as soon as I got out there, I felt like I really belonged there and I really didn't want to leave. I just wanted to stay on the runway. So that was the best. There was also a time, so before we went traveling, I filmed kind of like a showcase story video that was basically showing everyone my Numa book that I actually had. I don't have it with me. It's definitely packed away right now in some box, but here is me in 2018 before we left traveling, showing you the model book. So this is me showing you guys my model book. All right, so this is my Numa book. I wanted to just like visually go through this book because I'm not taking it with me. Then the rest I've just thrown in all my cards that I got made, and that's the back of them. So far, I think after that point, I started receiving emails from Numa models. So once I was accepted as a model in their agency, they send out like weekly emails to everyone, just sharing like the different opportunities that brands have and all their different photo shoots that you can either apply for or show up to a call for. That was also a lot of fun. I definitely went to a lot of different calls. And it was at this point that I started just working with actual brands. So I also did like individual independent photo shoots. My first paid photo shoot was through the Facebook, like a Facebook group. Man, I just like contacted local people myself in addition to the opportunities through Numa. So at that point, I was able to work with a bunch of really cool brands in Vancouver. I'm on some random websites and some blog posts, and it's been really cool since then. And I think I've gathered all of the logos from all the companies that I've worked with. Most of the companies that I worked with, I think I've gathered all these logos here. And I hope that this was a helpful video or kind of gave you an insight into my personal journey as a model, as like a very petite model, because I'm just 5'3". I'm not a tall kind of person. That definitely does limit me in the modeling world, but I still have a lot of fun, and I hope that this was educational in some respect. And thanks so much for hanging out with me. So make sure to give this video a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see any more kind of videos. I'd love to hear what you'd like to see from me and Corey, and I will see you in the next one.